Something that I have been learning and really grounding into and meditating on lately is the fact that so many of us think that we cannot manifest if we are in a state of lack, that like lack is just something that we have to consistently work to dissolve, and that it takes like so much flooding of like positive energy and mindset work and all this stuff in order for us to manifest. And I actually have come to the conclusion that it's not as difficult as we think, and that we are not required to be in complete absence of lack in order to manifest, and in order to live in prosperity. So I want to talk about what lack actually is from an energetic standpoint and a spiritual lens, and why you don't actually need to like never be in lack, or like release all lack from your being in order to have the prosperity and manifest the things that you want. So here's what lack actually is. Lack is longing, okay? And that's another thing. People think that longing is like, when people think about longing, a lot of times they associate it with like this like desperate energy, and they feel like longing is like opposite from knowing and having and being, and that's actually not true. Let's talk about longing for a second. So the pure state of longing is actually completely, like, inevitably foundationally entrained with knowing. So longing and knowing are like are a fundamental entrainment of existence, of the human experience. On a fundamental level, we all know of our divine embodiment. Like, we're all aware of it deep down in our being. And what happens is this human experience is all about forgetting and remembering. Forgetting, remembering, longing, knowing, they're all inseparable aspects of each other. Not only do we know this because fundamentally we know that everything comes from the unified field, everything in the universe is connected, but we also know this because, like, part of this experience, we don't just walk around knowing everything all the time. That would like take the enjoyment out of the human experience. We go through a process of longing and knowing, forgetting and remembering, because even when we like learn a new truth, we don't immediately embody that truth. We have to go through a process of being exposed to it, of like knowing and forgetting and then knowing again, or of forgetting and remembering and then forgetting again and then remembering again. Same thing with longing and knowing. I'm sure that you have had a time in your life where you experienced unity consciousness and you just felt so deeply connected to God and to everyone in the world, more than you ever have before, and you just were like on this spiritual high. Like, we all have had those experiences throughout our life, throughout our spiritual awakening. And then like, you don't just magically shift for the rest of your life. You're not like, well, now I'm embodied in abundance, and now I know that God is abundant and everything is constantly in motion and expanding, and therefore I can never lack. You have these realizations, and then in your embodiment you forget. Mentally you forget. Spiritually there's like these, you forget. It's just a part of the experience. You forget and you remember. You long and then you know, because that's, and like longing and knowing is like an extension of forgetting and remembering, because in order to know something, you have to, like, in order to learn something, you have to be unaware of it at first. They're deeply entrained, they're inseparable, because you can't know without forgetting. Otherwise you just always know everything, and then like there would be even no need to label it as knowing, because we would just all be, I don't know, we would just all be like God in its purest form all the time, and there would be no need for any of this if we all knew everything all the time. If we all had everything we need all the time without ever needing any sort of reminder, without ever needing lessons to learn and to grow and to experience, then I mean, what's the point? What's the point? So longing and knowing are a really, really important fundamental entrainment of the human experience. And so what lack is It's literally just longing that has forgotten its ability to know. Knowing and longing are so fundamentally entrained, and there's so much proof of this probably in your, like, I'm sure there's so much proof of this in your own experience. And so for me, what I have found is that being aware that longing and knowing are fundamentally entrained, and that if I have a longing for something, then I also have the ability to know. And like, it's literally like my spirit is guiding me to that knowing through the longing. And so how I look at it is anything I long for, I have the ability to know, because I am an emanation of the unified field. I'm an emanation of God. I know that I have infinite access. I have access at all times to the unified field. I can tap in, I can meditate, I can pray on things, I can ask for guidance, I can journal, I can, like, there's so many ways that I can receive the knowing for what it is that I'm longing for. Especially if you are someone who is gifted with the ability to channel, then this should be even easier for you to ground into this truth. Lack is literally longing that has forgotten its ability to know. And when I say knowing, I'm not just talking about mentally knowing something, but embodied knowing, for like knowing in the sense of being embodied in divine truth. It could be the truth of prosperity, right? And that prosperity is literally inevitable for you. If you have a longing for something, it means that you also know, even subconsciously, even spiritually, deep down, you absolutely know, because these two are fundamentally entrained with each other. You have to know that you are capable and you are deserving and worthy, and it's possible for you to have this thing. So whenever you find yourself longing for something, just know that it's because you know that it's meant for you. Even if you in your own psyche and consciousness are not aware of it, there's a part of you that's aware of it, because God is always aware of it. Lack is literally just longing that has forgotten that it is deeply entrained and inseparable with knowing. So this truth, this fundamental truth of longing entrained with knowing, has been deeply hidden and buried, and like, people don't want us to know that, because they, like, there are people that want the collective to live in a state of lack because it serves them better and it makes people more controllable. But when you're aware that lack is literally just longing that has forgotten it is deeply entrained with knowing, then instead of seeing your obstacles as proof that you can't have something, you see them as proof that you can, as proof that it is like, this obstacle is awakening a desire, and you're just along for the ride in the game of coming back to your knowing and continuously coming back to it, because it's honestly the most like fundamental, honestly the best knowing that you can come back to consistently is just the awareness of God. If you can consistently bring yourself back to the awareness of God, then you will be so much better off in every situation. Because if you can do this like twice a day, if you can meditate, ideally meditate and pray twice a day. When I say pray, I really mean talk to God. If you can meditate and talk to God twice a day, okay, that means that you're in a state of receiving and pouring out twice a day, in the morning, in the evening, even if it's just for 5-10 minutes, then you are anchoring yourself in a presence that is so deep and so fulfilling that, and it will naturally like boost your energy so much that you are going to consistently come back to this awareness. Even if it starts off slow, even if you just pray in the morning, if you meditate and pray in the morning on one day, then at least for probably 10 minutes afterwards, you're gonna feel that embodied presence of God. It might take time, it's gonna get deeper, it's gonna get more potent over time. You might have days where it feels super profound and tingly and it, like so exciting, and you might have days where it feels a lot calmer and still. And that's really normal. And what I want you to do is really just like do your best to be consistent with talking to God throughout the day, even if it just feels like you're just talking to yourself. Like literally just consistently come back to the internal, come back to the source, and be present, because presence is literally a portal into the unified field. It is a portal into creation, and it's what regulates your nervous system. It's what allows you to hear divine inspiration more clearly and take action from a more sovereign and still an empowered embodiment, because scattered action leads to scattered results. So the more present that we are, the more in alignment we are, the more aligned our actions are, and it brings so much clarity, and it activates so much power as well, because your power is in the present moment, because your power is with God and God is within, and you experience that when you're in the present, when you're within, when you're having an embodied present experience.